On Christmas Eve, my cousin toasted. We bought a boat for my parents. Everyone cheered. Imagine sitting down for Christmas dinner, surrounded by your own family, and then VM. You find out they've drained your entire life savings, not for an emergency, but to buy your aunt and uncle a boat. And the worst part? They expected me to be grateful. This isn't just a story about money. It's about betrayal, family, and finally finding the courage to stand up for yourself when everyone expects you to just roll over. My name is Dawn, I'm 27, and Christmas Eve had always been this chaotic, loud, crowded affair in my family. But that year, the second I walked through the door, something felt off. Like a low hum under the surface, a weird tension I couldn't quite place. Usually, our gatherings are a mix of awkward small talk and thinly veiled passive-aggressive jabs, but this was different. The house still smelled exactly the same, pine and cinnamon, and the old decorations I remembered from childhood were all there. The dining table was, as always, groaning under the weight of enough food to feed an army. But my cousins? They were practically buzzing with nervous energy, whispering and giggling. And every time I caught one of them looking my way, they'd immediately snap their eyes away. I tried to shake it off, tried to tell myself I was overthinking, but that uneasy feeling just coiled tighter in my gut. I took my usual seat at the end of the table, attempting to tune out the usual overlapping symphony of conversations. My mom, in rare form, was laughing a little too loudly at everything my aunt said. My dad was holding court with my uncles at the head of the table, practically puffing out his chest like he was the undisputed king of Christmas. But then there was my younger cousin Mark. Always the center of attention, he was sitting directly across from me, fidgeting like crazy, like he had some massive secret bubbling inside him, just waiting for the perfect, dramatic moment to unleash it. Dinner, as usual, was a total whirlwind, loud, chaotic, exactly how my family loved it. Plates were flying, people were reaching across the table without a second thought, and conversations zipped from one topic to the next so fast it was impossible to keep up. I was halfway through my first glass of wine when, suddenly, Mark stood up. He clinked his glass with a spoon, a wide, almost devious grin plastered across his face, like he'd just pulled off the biggest prank of his life. "All right, everyone," he announced, "I want to make a toast." The room, miraculously, fell silent. "This year," he said, glancing around dramatically, "we all chipped in and bought my parents a boat." The room absolutely erupted. Cheers, shouts, applause. My aunt clapped her hands to her face, eyes wide. My uncle jumped up, hugging everyone in sight, practically doing a victory lap. Half the table started clapping like someone had just announced a surprise engagement. I forced a polite smile, but inside, my stomach dropped. I knew my aunt and uncle had always dreamed about a boat, but they never seemed serious about actually buying one. It was a nice gesture, I guess, but there was something so sickeningly smug about the way everyone was looking at each other, and it just made that uneasy feeling intensify. Then my mom turned to me, her face glowing with what I initially thought was pride, but now I realized was probably just the wine. "Oh," she said, "so Dawn, T missed the end. Watch the full story, link is attached below."